Well, good evening. Welcome to the town hall. This is the Get to Know broadcast, and we have a special guest tonight. Sorry about that. We got other music going. Sounds. So, welcome. This is Town Hall, and this is Get to Know Sophie Nubani. Actually, Dr. Sophie Nubani. And she is such a dynamic person. I'm so excited to introduce you to her tonight. We're going to be talking about mindset. We're going to be talking about how Sophie is making a positive impact in the community. And that's what this show is all about. The LWN Live with Nature Foundation likes to introduce people that are making a positive impact in their community. And Sophie, Dr. Sophie Nubani, is that person. And we appreciate you taking time to come and join us this evening. I want to tell you a little bit about Dr. Sophie. She's a Centrix interpersonal coach, an executive coach that has the following credentials, by the way. She's a certified laughing yogi. She is the queen of laughter, by the way, and wisdom. And she's a certified NLP coach as well, a master practitioner, certified social and emotional intelligence coach, certified motivational coach, certified Reiki 3 teacher, certified EFT and TFT practitioner. She's also an ordained minister as well, and she has an honorary doctorate in a divinity degree. Her unique coaching styles help people release emotional pain that they've experienced in their life, and they reach a higher state of awareness and a better state and a better enjoyment of everyday life. And so she does have a book coming up, and we'll be talking about that. That's Optimize Your Creative Mindset. And she's finishing up a doctorate in spiritual development and a very dynamic person. She also has a group. If you're not a member of that group, we'll talk about that. Wisdom Cafe. Also, Laughter is the Best Medicine, and that is another group she's involved in. And without further ado, I want to bring on our special guest this evening, and that is Dr. Sophie Nubani. Welcome, Dr. Sophie.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Hello. Yes. Namaste. Thank you for
Namaste.
joining us. How are you doing
Blessings.
today?
I'm doing great. How is it in Sarasota? We're not too far apart.
No, you're up in Orlando, I do believe.
That is true. I'm still
Yes,
there.
it's hot.
Magical Disney World.
The happiest place on earth, right?
There you go.
Excellent. Yes. I love Disneyland, by the way. I really do. I haven't been there for a moment.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so wonderful. And so I'll start by saying that I've known Sophie, and getting used to the doctor part of it. I didn't really realize that you were a doctor, but you've got
Yes.
some great credentials. Um, I've known Dr. Sophie for, gosh, I want to say about 2 years or so now. It's got to be at least about two, maybe 2.5 years, and
Mhm.
and she has really been a bright light in my life. I've learned a lot from her. A very dynamic person. She's been here to Sarasota. I've actually personally met Sophie as well as Bob Cho.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's such a
Yes, you
great guy.
did. That was a
Yes.
very interesting trip, definitely.
That was the early days of Live with Nature, and it was pretty exciting. It certainly was. Um, so what I like to do here is just kind of turn this over to you. This broadcast is about you and about how you're making a positive impact. And so I wanted to start, I guess, by we'll talk about your book in a minute, but I want you to talk about your most memorable moment. What was the epiphany for you that you decided that you wanted to start studying as much as you have to be able to help other people? Tell us about that.
Oh, interesting. Yes. I always was curious. And I always was excited when I learned something new or visited a new place or met new friends and they were from different countries and I learned about their backgrounds or cultures. I always found that very fascinating. And I think it's due to the fact that at a very young age, I traveled with my family. And I also traveled as an unaccompanied minor at the age of 9. So I was traveling totally alone in planes at a very young age, often. And that, I think, built my courage and creative bravery. And being just yourself, not, having someone always to tell you that you can't do this and you can't do that. I was able to tap into some of my passions at a young age. So I love gymnastics. I like to draw. I like to do card crafting. So
Mm-hmm.
there were things that I really, always connected with that side of me. And it was all about exploring and learning. And as an adult, after, I have a child. I have an only child. He's 26 right now. And even being a mother, I was taking classes. So I got my real estate license, I got my esthetician license. Every time I turn around, like, even having a child, I always remember being in a kind of a certification of something.
You have
Because
done.
it was so exciting to me. I love to learn, and when I learn something new, I, and sometimes, there are things that I learned that I want to learn for myself. So when
Mhm.
I studied esthetician, and I still continue to renew my license, and I could open a spa or work at a spa or do any of that stuff, because I just loved that area. I love to take care of myself, and I wanted to learn, how do I take care of my own skin, or how do I take care of this. And I took a class for it, but then I got a certification with it. And so there's many courses that I would take because I really wanted to learn for myself about them, for my personal life. And others that I had a more passion, that I really, really wanted to teach it, because I find myself talking a lot about it. And I'm like, okay, it's time to really get certified in that topic, because then I will be able to exchange that energy back and forth with others, and be able to help others who might be interested as well in that topic.
That's very, very interesting. So obviously you love to learn, and I personally consider you truly one of the smartest women that I do know. And so I always get to learn and grow from you. Now, you also have a Facebook group too, as well, a couple of them.
Yeah, a
You
few.
work. Yeah, why
Mhm.
don't you tell us about your groups? I know Wisdom Cafe,
Yes. So Wisdom
fabulous.
Cafe is really, it's would think of the name Wisdom Cafe. So the goal and the mission of Wisdom Cafe is to have people unite and connect in higher thinking and growth mindset interests. So the topics are always going to be inspirational, devoted to self-development and so forth. And we do have two shows there: Meet the Author and Meet the Expert. And then we also have the Laughter Mindset group, and that is focused more on humor and building a community of people that can connect in joy and harmony. And when
Mhm.
they're really exhausted, if they went to the group, they can find a joke or something funny, and that would lift their spirit and shift their state right away. And then recently, I also have a group, and it's called Optimize Your Creative Mindset, and it's named after Optimize Your Creative Mindset Facebook page and group. And it is really focused on creativity and
Good.
innovation, creativity leading to innovation. So the posts that are going to be in there, they have to involve, you know, words like creativity and innovation, or a message of that, because the group is around that. So that when they go there, they if they want something for creativity, they're like, okay, I know where I can go to that group, and I can get more inspiration or more ideas or more tools, as it shares also a few things from the book, literally organically. It was designed for all the contributors and also all the readers that had pre-ordered the book prior, to build a community and to have a to-go place, and then interact and grow from there. So those
That's
are the three groups.
yes. So that be the one is that's the most current group, correct?
No, that
No,
is not. That is optimize your creative mindset. Is
optimize your creative mindset.
uh-huh.
I'm sorry. I don't
Yes.
know why I was thinking that be the one. Well, we all want to be the one, right?
Yes.
We want
That's
to be
correct.
the one that helps people, and I know that that's why we connected because
Correct.
you want to help people. That's what I love to do. I've turned my life and my purpose over to serving others, and it's so
Amen.
much fun. I got to thinking when you were talking about laughter mindset and how you have, I think it was last year, you did a clinic on laughter therapy. So you do that, and you do that occasionally.
Yes.
How's that?
Yeah, so currently with COVID, we're on a little break, but we do what we call the laughter mindset experience, and that's workshops in person on premises. So different. It's for organizations, companies, communities, stuff like that. And we bring in a lot of the modalities that we apply and incorporate to help people have their tools with them. So after leaving a workshop, if they just took one thing with them, they would still have one tool that they can add to their life and be more aware of it than before. So that would be the laughter mindset experience. And then we also have the laughter mindset meta shift group coaching. And that's different. That's for, that's like coaching program.
So you are a coach in many different areas. Um, Creative thinking, and I think that that's what your focus has been lately, is about creative thinking. And so I'd
Mm-hmm.
like to have you share with the viewers how creative thinking can make a positive impact in community when they start utilizing this creative thinking. And I'm trying to think of the two types of thinking with respect to your book. There's and you can explain that because I still don't have that.
Convergent and divergent.
Yes. Maybe you can explain that to the viewers about
Sure,
the
sure.
different styles of thinking.
Right. And it starts with that, right? So everything starts with the thinking. The thinking develops a behavioral pattern of how we respond, and we then adopt a mindset of what we think continuously of. For example, there is the champion's mindset, there is the success mindset, a winner's mindset, there's a jealousy mindset, there's a fear mindset. So there's different types of mindset that people actually apply and live with. And it all starts with a thought. So before I can help you develop a creative skill, I need to help you think creatively first. And the focus in chapter 1 of my book is about the different thinking styles and also the different levels of creativity. So you have
Yeah.
different levels. You have the C, the mini C, the small C, the medium C level, and then you have the bigger C, like, Einstein, like Steve Jobs. But everybody has a level. And it's not like one person thinks they're not creative. It's just that their level of creativity is lower than others. And that's because maybe they're just not tapping into their skills and their potential properly, and they don't know how to.
How does
Um,
imagination fit into that?
it fits very well with that because it starts with that. You got to imagine something to think about
Right.
it. So, there you go. You're like, I want to see myself one day impacting this many people. I want to do this many shows, whatever your vision is and the imagination. Then you start thinking about it more often, right? And then you
Hmm.
start thinking of how then I want to take action and I want to apply that. So imagination can never be discounted from the creative process. They go hand in hand together. They are very aligned in that essence.
Well,
However,
yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no, no. I mean, I was just thinking
Imagination
myself.
alone.
I was thinking that uh, my thought is that thought is creative. Any thought is creative based on what you're thinking. And that's where these different levels of thinking, it could be a fear type of creative thinking, or it could be a success oriented. It just depends on what we're focusing on. And I guess my thought is that we are what we think.
Mm-hmm. True. But also remember, so thought is creative, yes. And then I bring in destructive mindset versus creative mindset. And that's very important to really understand what is hindering you from your best creative potential. And also, it all is gonna boil down to, like, we all heard of Carol Dweck's work, and she did an amazing job with her book Mindsets, growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. In the end, when you funnel everything, it's gonna boil down to, like fear or love, growth or mindset or fixed mindset. So all of the things that are empowering or disempowering as a foundation of operation towards our goals and mission and purpose. So,
I wanted to say, okay, and let's take me for an example, is that in the past I would get things and life would be pretty good. I was having successes, and then what would happen would I would do something and it would actually destroy all the good stuff. And so what I was thinking is that was a problem from the standpoint of maybe I didn't feel worthy of that success or something. Maybe you can help us with
yeah.
that so that we can identify why do we destroy things when they're great.
Do you feel you destroyed it on purpose, or was it that you didn't know good enough to make the right decisions
I
towards
don't
steps that caused you those mistakes?
I don't even know that I realized that things would get really good and then I just make a poor choice is what seemed to happen.
So there's a difference between if you feel that you're destroying something or you made a not a wise choice or a better choice.
I see.
Destroying is more like, you're intentionally working at doing that behavior or action. Making
Okay.
wrong decisions or making mistakes, it's not destroying it. You did not do that on purpose. You just did not have the right guidance or the vision on a longer term for its success, or maybe not enough information prior to planning to go forward with certain projects, how you can sustain them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the environment you're around, it reflects. So a lot of factors play a big role in the results, but it's not necessarily always, we are accountable. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we are under a pandemic, and that's a very perfect scenario. There are many people are either breaking down from it or breaking through from it. So in the end of the day, what is out of our control, we have a choice on how we want to respond to it. We are not discounting the fact that it's tough, that a lot of people are suffering, struggling, losing their business, having 5 kids at home to homeschool when they never did that in their lives, plus their business to manage on top of that. So people are going through a lot of pressure, and we have to be really feeling that, and we have to have the compassion towards what people are going through outside just being sick with COVID itself, but also everything that it's resulted in the adjustments of lifestyle and business and personal as well. So the question would be, people who are able to be in that more centered, calm, and grounding situation are more, they're called upon to take action and be there right now. For those who are not in that space, for someone who's down and I have my strength to pick them up in my hand, it's the time that more of us show up. And if we need that, it will turn around and people will be there in that manner because you're leading with that example. And it always pays off to do the right thing the best way that you know how to. However, if you feel there's a repeated pattern in the results that you're getting, then there's going to be something that needs to be adjusted on how you are starting and the ways you're making your choices. And this is why in my last chapter of the book, right before the bonus chapter, I created a chapter and it's called The Circle of Creative Masters. And I talk about earlier in the book about individual creativity and collaborative creativity. And both are so important and very, very empowering and good. However, right now, a lot of people and in the 21st century are seeking collaboration. And for that to manifest properly in the right way, you need trust and you need to be aligned with the right group of people. And at times, for example, Stephen, like you might have made the same, wanted the same goal 10 years ago, but today you want the same goal and it might manifest completely different and better for you because now the circle you're around is different. And if you have your inner circle and you have a habit of, you're like you're each other's soldiers, and you're close, and you pick each other's, like you mastermind together, you think together. It really helps if you're aligned with the right people.
I
So
have to agree with that. Yeah, I really do,
yeah.
because that's what I had to do, is to recognize that I had to change the circle of people that I was around. So I started, what I did was that I just started following people, well, like yourself, and people that were smarter than me, that I could learn from and that I could grow, people that were the top influencers out there, so that I could become a better person as a result of surrounding them with me. And then letting go of the people that really weren't moving forward and helping. And I hear that we're
And
having some
in your
audio
book,
issues. I'm not sure why, um, but I apologize about the audio issues, everybody. And I just want everyone to know too, as well. We really appreciate you joining this evening. We are with Dr. Sophie Nubani, and you are watching the town hall Get to Know. We appreciate you joining us. I'm not sure where that audio problem is coming from. It could be my headphones or something. I don't know.
yes. And Stephen, I also remember when we interviewed you in Sarasota a
Yes.
few years ago, and I met with Lori Huggins on their workshop in Hilton in Cocoa Beach, and I was with their group for dinner, and out of anybody's interview, you believe it or not, she mentioned you and your story in the interview. And me
Wow.
and you had spoken, I believe, a few days prior to that, after such a long time that we didn't talk by phone.
Hmm.
And it was funny because she actually mentioned you, because you see what you've done for yourself is very inspiring for many people. And for those who know your backstory and see how you were so determined, put so much effort into your personal development and growth, leading by that, and that's just so amazing. And it's going to make everyone that knows you want to be there, want to be part of your growth, because you're so committed to be in service. And that's beautiful.
Thank you. That's so kind. I appreciate that. And it's nice to hear things like that today, because versus the things I'd hear a decade ago about my behavior. But it takes a lot of work. That's what it's taken. It's taken a lot of work, and surrounding myself with people that I can learn from, like I said, and then being
Yes, it's a
consistent.
commitment.
Yes, and then being consistent.
You
And
are
just,
very consistent for sure.
do you hear that audio issue that's going on or no?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
I do.
It's
Have,
from your end,
is it coming on my end? Very
because
strange.
when you stop talking, it
Yeah,
goes away.
I know. That's so weird. I wonder whether I should just unplug this mic. Okay, I'm going to let you talk it. I'm going to unplug my mic and retry that so I can stop this. Since you're the queen of laughter, Dr. Sophie, why don't you tell us a joke, okay?
I'll tell you a real joke. This happened. It's not even a joke I read somewhere. So I have a friend of mine that I met on LinkedIn, and through our communication on messages, he wanted me to send me his book so I can give him an authentic review. And and mentioned for me, like, what's my address, da 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 da. But I've never met this person before, so being a woman, I'm always careful and cautious. So I said, what do you need the address? Like, when are you gonna send the book and this and that? And I'm asking all these questions to him, and then he goes, "Dear, I need your email address. It's a PDF. It's I'm sending you a PDF." And I'm thinking you wanted my house address all this time, and I'm sending all this information and zip codes and addresses and you name it. So sometimes we gotta laugh at ourselves and our messages sometimes, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that, that was a real happening one.
Yes, that is. It happens, doesn't it? I want to go to one of the questions here. We got Emmanuel Laverty here with us watching from the UK, and he's wondering what's the
Hello.
hardest thing that you have to overcome in your life?
I didn't hear the first part. What
I'm
was
I'm sorry, let me put that back up. I'm tempted.
the hardest thing that I overcome in my life? Um, Being conformed to culture and religion.
Conform to culture
Um,
and religion.
yes, for example, I come from a Middle Eastern background, and a lot of the things that I am are not necessarily very familiar and known and accepted for other cultures. And that's because of certain belief systems or religious belief systems that make it either right or wrong, good or bad. And so I had to, because I cared so much about my family and my culture too. However, I had to really stand up for myself and true be myself and be who I am and speak up and behave and do everything that represents my authentic soul expression. At times, it takes courage to do that politely without losing people or fighting with people, because I really love to have a harmony in relationships, unless I have to speak up for a good cause, and then I'm not going to try to make you feel good about it if it's wrong or right, but I want to deliver it in a very respectful manner and polite way. That is just the way I like doing things with people.
Mhm.
So that was kind of hard. The culture change from one place to the other, the mindset, understanding a different way. For you, like I was just saying the other day, people in different cultures understand things differently. Like
Mhm.
Albert, the food for the babies in Spanish means vomit. And when they were selling it in the Spanish market, they didn't understand why it didn't sell in their market only. Well, people associated that with vomit. Who's going to buy food that associates with vomit? Or
Right.
Mercedes Benz. Benz in Chinese, in Asian culture, means like speed to death or something. So they had to change the name over there when they promote it, because who wants to buy a car that reminds them that this is where they're going to die fast? So understanding culture, and that's why I really, really emphasize in a lot of my shows, that interviews lately, about cross-cultural intelligence and its importance in our 21st century because of the technology and the expansion and the unitedness that we have with each other, that we need to understand a little bit more about somebody's background, because then we can understand their language and we understand how to communicate and deliver better for them, and we have more chances to succeed in collaboration to a better thing and a
Mm.
higher cause as a humanity than not. So so I really, that was a little bit for me, and I was able to really adapt with that. And it was kind of cool when I was able to understand why this person or this culture would do this, or that person or that. And when you understand it, nothing becomes personal anymore, and you respect it. And then this way, your communications, relationships, and comprehension to things are much better.
Beautiful. Yes. I know that it's going to be exciting for me. I don't know why it just wants to click like I'm typing. Very strange. Anyways, we're stirring up the energy clearly, right?
Yes.
That I want to learn about other people's cultures because, of course, I plan to travel at some point in the near future. Or
Amen.
well, maybe it's next year. I don't know when it's going to come. It's going to come when it's supposed to come. I know that part. So I am looking forward to getting to know other people, and it's so dynamic and fun. And that's what I say every day, is how grateful I am for the followers and the people, the viewers that watch these videos, and it's all over the world. And it's like, wow, who would have thought? When you said earlier about when things come together, they're not like what you maybe expected, so
Mm-hmm.
much more
Mm-hmm.
dynamic. Now, I'd like to talk about spiritual development. How would you suggest a person could come to a higher level of spiritual development?
Um, I really believe in meditation and prayer a lot. Because it gives you time to be in that space alone and allow your mind and your heart and your soul to really bring and show up what it is really wanting for you. When you're praying, you're asking God, and when you're meditating, God is talking to you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they're not talking about a particular way to meditate, but the concept of meditation and the stillness of the mind, and allowing yourself to really make space to reflect, to think higher and deeper, to ask questions. When you have an issue or a situation, to train yourself to ask questions like why, what, when, how, to yourself, not just to
Mm-hmm.
other people, to that situation, and look at it from a different angle, and look at it from, if it was this person, how would they have handled it? If it was Napoleon Hill, if it was Einstein, if it was Steve Jobs, for example. I'm just trying to make it where you go bigger than just your own existence,
Mm-hmm.
and allow to see from different thinking ways and styles. A scientist would think different than an artist, and a chef would think different than an engineer. Everybody has different thinking styles. It is very wise that you kind of put yourself in that seat and allow your mind to be in that space and address the situation from that one angle. And if not, then definitely have your inner circle. Always have a very, very connected, very selective inner circle, because it will really encourage your growth, because those people are mainly mission driven. If you are connecting with the right ones that support what you want to do, meaning your mission, your goals, and they're doing theirs, doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
be the same mission, but they are focused on something that is going to provide positive impact to the world. They are really intentionally working and purposeful living in their mind and their ways, behaviors. Those are the people that when you call them, they're not like they'll think with you faster. They'll give you suggestions more, and they're on their way out. They're not going to drain you and exhaust you, where you're not able to serve your own mission. So you have to have boundaries. You have to be assertive, and you have to really put time into understanding yourself and your mind. What makes you mind more stimulated, and why? You see,
Yeah.
because when
Yeah.
you understand that, it's going to be easier to sustain that kind of growth, and it's not going to die away where you do good a little bit and it goes away, because the why behind it is so strong, and it's going to give you
Mm.
that extra push, and it's going to always remind you of why you're moving forward. I mean, in a process of doing my book myself, literally, it is self-published. I've never had an official full A to Z publishing book like self-published, and because of that, the experience was really like, I had never expected it to be that. Writing was one thing, and was, for me, it was easy. Now, I've been in anthologies before, but that wasn't my part. I never had to deal with the publishing company. I did my daily reflection meditation journal, which is only 4 pages. It's a journal where you can write in, but
Mm-hmm.
it went to a publishing company. This is my first self-published book, and the experience is different. So I've learned so much going through
Yeah.
this process. In between, I had to consult with few people, and they were my inner circle, but they were also authors or self-published, and they gave me very valuable insights that really helped me through the process. So meditation, prayer, and then be surrounded with the people that are going to support your growth. It is very essential when you're in service that you serve everyone that you can serve with your heart. But when it comes to your inner circle and your personal growth, you need to really be very selective so that you can continue to give and be in good service to others.
That's very good advice. I'd like to come back to your book in a minute, but what I'd like to do right now is go to one of our viewers here. They have a question. I'm seriously tempted just to unplug my headphones. I don't know why all of a sudden they don't seem to want to work properly, but nonetheless, we'll carry on. Richard Fay's watching from the United Kingdom, and he says during this
Hello, Richard.
Richard, we love you. He is our
Yeah.
artistic champion. He deals with autism. He's saying during the pandemic, his emotions and anxiety can change 3 times in a day. It's like riding a 9-loop corkscrew roller coaster. What would you recommend for Richard to get a little bit calmer so that he didn't go through the anxiety and the changes that he does and the panic attacks that I know affect him? How would he get a little bit more calmer, would you say?
He would have to, first of all, incorporate and add few little tweaks into his day, just like you would have supplements or vitamins. First, if he can be surrounded more with the color blue, just think of blue. Blue is calming, blue is water, blue is the sky. So fire is anxiety, fire is your own going on and on. So you need something to breathe in and be more calm. So surround yourself more with the color blue. And also, I would suggest that he does either alternate nostril breathing technique and incorporate that in the morning and in the evening. It's going
Hmm.
to help a lot because people think, oh, we're breathing anyway, so we don't need to really do that. But when you're in that amygdala going fast and you're like in a flight or fight mindset, trying to act so fast all the time, and that's where your cortisol levels is going so much higher, and so your heart is pulsating faster, and all these things happening. You need to breathe. You need to really, really, really take it into a serious practice, and it becomes easier. In the beginning you might be do a little bit, and then you might go from 1 minute to 2 minutes until you might reach 5 minutes, and do that and do different rounds, like, okay, I'll do 3 rounds and then I'll stop and I'll go back. It's gonna really help because your oxygen is gonna flow more to your brain, and also you're gonna be more centered and connected with your breath. And
Yes,
the minute you start observing that,
yes,
naturally it's gonna calm you down. You
it
see, in
does.
some of the alarm systems, you see that you have an alarm system to wake you up, but then they have also sounds of birds and then sounds of waves, but they also have sounds of heartbeat. And what is the sound of a heartbeat relates to? You see, when you're in the womb, you were already in that space. That sound is so familiar from before you're even up to this world, and it makes you feel safe and secure. So once you be able to align with the breath and be able to connect with your heartbeat and be in that space, it's gradually going to slow down your anxiety and calm you down more. All right, so that's one thing. The other thing I would suggest is you're on beta brainwaves right now, and it's like going fast, fast, fast. So going into alpha or theta is going to be very beneficial. So you could either listen to that. I even have a chapter in my book that talks about the brainwaves and effects, because you cannot make suggestions to your subconscious mind correctly without being in that level of a brainwave for best solutions and visions and accuracy and effectiveness. So someone who is already in a state where their stress levels are extremely high and their anxiety, then going back into a theta level and alpha level is very helpful. You can either listen to alpha and theta sounds on hertz. I like, there's different frequencies that you can pick which one aligns with you the most. But in my opinion, I believe that if you're able to use that while you're doing your breath work, it might just even be a very good tool that you add that sound to it, so it anchors to you that this is my me time, and it's my time too. And it's gonna gradually it's going to rewire your brain, and your brain patterns, your neurotransmitters are gonna be different, firing in a different new habit that you're creating, and eventually it will become easier to follow and adapt to. In addition to that, if you can add therapeutic grade lavender oil, I'm sure you've heard of those things, CBD and lavender and all the good stuff. But I would definitely, for someone who's experiencing anxiety or panic attacks, those are tools that you just, it's like your emergency toolkit. You want to have it all the time ready. You want to incorporate it and integrate it into your day for sure. And then I would do affirmations with incantations as well, tapping with pressure points, acupressure
I
points in the body,
I
and
heard
that would
about this
actually,
tapping.
yes,
That's a
yes.
new therapy, right?
Well, it's been there for a while. We do it in all our workshops, but I really believe
Okay.
that a lot of people are not familiar with it. But once you tap into the points, and it really does make, because you're tapping into all these places, you're distracting yourself from the thought. But what I like about EFT is that you acknowledge the negative emotion, so it's out of your system, and then you're replacing it with something positive while you're tapping. And you can tap for anxiety, you can tap for many things, whatever intention you want, you can tap for it, including weight loss and stuff like that. So
Wow.
it's pretty interesting. Yes, yes.
That
So
that
the
that is interesting. I'd like for you to talk to us about NLP too. I mean, I went through CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
uh-huh.
How is that different than NLP?
All right, so well, NLP is neuro linguistic programming of the mind, and you are going through with a practitioner in a sense where you're dealing with a subconscious mind. Mainly all the suggestions are to influence that, and their techniques and their exercises are so diverse and very different. For example, one of them is like a timeline therapy. And if you do a line time therapy, you're going to have an imaginative line in your mind's eyes that is your life timeline, and you're going to visualize where it stands to you. And everybody's different. Some people visualize it from right to left, left to right, up, down, back, front. And through the process, you will actually be floating above your timeline a lot. And then you go back into the emotion that you really want to release, or the trauma that you're experiencing that you would want to work with. And you go back into a past timeline to see where this originally was born, where this emotion originally come from. And a lot of times I have someone who has a high pressure coming in with all the different reasons other than what we discover and treat in the end. So they come in thinking because something happened today and they want to release that now. But what we do a timeline therapy, and now we deal with when that person was 3 years old, that the trapped emotion that never was released since that time is still there. And we work through it and they release it, and they are able then to replace it. And the subconscious mind doesn't know what's right or false. Therefore, when you reprogram it and put the new suggestion in, you're able to be more empowered, and definitely don't need to be having those triggers that gets you so anxious and maybe causes panic attacks and anxiety to your life. So NLP is a very good technique. In fact, I will be certified, be an NLP trainer. I will be giving certifications for NLP practitioners for those who want to learn NLP and get certified. In
Mm,
August, I'm going to be able to certify them myself. I'm finishing all that as we speak. I am a NLP master practitioner, and I took the additional course on that as well, so I can make certification trainings for that. But I really believe it's
wow.
very helpful, very useful, especially now with what we're dealing with. Many people are stressed. So, Richard, you're not alone. Uh, the world is in that state, and it's causing a lot of people to have anxiety because of the unknown, the unfamiliar. But when you do exercises such as that, you're able to be more at peace because you're able to imagine, you're able to have a plan, and you're able to attach your emotion towards a goal that you really have a passion for, and it's going to ease the stress and the pain and all the anxiety away.
Sounds like good to me.
There you
I
go.
really, and I've thought a lot about it, and so that's really, we'll have to talk about that because I think I would like to do that. You know, I learned from a patient standpoint about cognitive behavioral therapy and how to, you know, change your thinking. And it started with breaking me down to nothing pretty much, you know, and building me back up and building that, because it's all in the belief system, which is the subconscious. And so it's all about the things that we
True.
say to ourselves. And so that's where I think consistency comes in. Consistency is key. So you've
Yes.
got these practices, but it's important to follow through and to do it on a regular basis. Isn't that correct?
Very true. And at different times of your life with different experiences or situations will require different ways to adapt and be innovative, you know. So
Hmm.
sometimes when you are able to say, oh, I studied cognitive behavioral therapy and then now you know NLP and then now you know EFT and TFT, now it's another tool and another tool. It's all good because all of them can work towards something and help you from this stage to the other stage. So maybe 5 years ago you needed one thing and it would have worked best for you, but now where you're at you might need something else and it still works. And whatever you learned, you always own that experience. Nobody can take it away from you, so you can always use it and apply it. The best investment you can ever do is the investment you do in yourself, because by bettering yourself you can better others around you and the world as well. So yeah, that is going to be cool. You're
And
gonna
that,
love NLP.
and see that's where it comes in, and what you're doing is so positive for the community because you're helping people become a better them. That's one of our
Yeah.
slogans. We want to help you become a better you, the best you that you can be. Um,
Amen.
and then you're able to help others in your community in a much higher level, and with true love as well in servitude. And that's the beauty of that. Now, I'd like to go back about your book. You've been working on this book for some time. That's called Optimize Your Creative Mindset. You asked me to
Yeah.
write a portion of a chapter, and then I'm really excited, of course,
You're
when that
gonna be
comes
in
out.
book two. It's a 3 book series, remember?
Yeah, so it's like you had so much, you had to do it in three.
It's funny because originally I thought it's one book, but I wrote so much that it had to be divided. And book one alone is at 428 pages, and that's over three. So imagine why we had to divide it.
Now, I love a good Michener story, and it's probably 1,000 pages for that. But a lot of people
Look
don't
at
want
that.
that much. Yeah, a lot of people don't want that much at one time. So you've got 3 books coming out. When's that first book coming out then?
Well, the first book is going to be officially launched this coming Tuesday, God's
Mhm.
willing. And the the launch of the second and third is going to be apart because it needs to be matured. Book one is too big, so it has to be at least about 6 months apart between book one and two, for the digestion of the information. It's a lot of information. Every chapter is a lot of information. It is
Yes.
not your 101 creativity book. It's a little bit to me, it's a medium to advanced. It targets a lot of organizations and companies and entrepreneurs and solopreneurs as well, as who are the readers for the book. Um, Chapter one covers a lot on different thinking styles, the different levels of C creatives, and also stories. So I have 15 contributors in book one, and each different story comes depending on the part that it represents that is aligned with the book. And then chapter two talks about mindsets and the different mindsets, and there's many of them, but we then focus down to the most important, and that's going to lead to the creative mindset,
Hmm.
definition of it, and how to apply it best. And I will tell you, out of everything that you read, everything is about connecting the dots. Of course, you're going to come with new ideas that are novel and effective, to be considered a creative idea leading to innovation. However, that's one way, and everything that's in our mind already is a perception of something that we know from the past or have a memory of or saw or something, and then we become creative on our own with that. some people are not able to be in that space. And this part two is going to help them understand themselves. There's quizzes that will actually, you can take the quiz and really determine what level of creative are you. And this way it'll be easier for you to see your progress in your creative journey. And then we have creative storytelling. And creative storytelling is so important, and it's different than storytelling, which is really important and good for history, keeping a legacy, and everything else, including the stories we tell ourselves, as we know. However, that chapter is really designed for creative storytelling with great examples, and helps you to expand and tap into the knowing of how you could be more creative in storytelling specifically.
That is awesome. And that brings me to a what if question. I know that Robert Shallow, he inspired me about the what if theory. He was on our Get to Know show as well. So, what if people started thinking creatively? How is that going to impact them and the community in a positive way?
All right, so let's take an example right now with what we're dealing with, because it's reality and it's not hitting one country or one person. It's a pandemic. Do you feel that if more people knew in their hearts and minds that they were able to transition from what they're dealing with as what they're so used to and comfortable with, that's totally gone away from them, do you feel they're going to respond different emotionally and mentally and physically to the pandemic compared to someone who's more creative
Mhm.
or less creative? So when you are in that space and you are able to, your to go to your default way of thinking is always, okay, I have a problem. You have to identify that you do. You have to be aware of what it is. And now it becomes fun, because now it becomes fun. How? By being curious, having intellectual openness and intellectual curiosity, which I also talk about in the book. Because when you are in that space, you are able to look at anything from different angles. And I always suggest a divergent, convergent thinking after you come up with your solutions, that you will apply holistic thinking after that. Because what is this for the betterment of all? How could this help everyone? Or how could it, or could it harm everyone? So you might come up with a product that makes you a lot of money, that's very creative, but that
Mhm.
destroys human brains or cells, or. So if we apply the holistic thinking at the end of our creative thinking leading to innovation, we are going to be a lot better as a human family serving each other, because everyone has more joy when you are taking out your creativity. You as a soul, you're not stagnant. And when you don't, when you're not creating and you're not being creative during your day and co-creating and planning and doing this and trying this and figure, you know what, that's when people get depressed as well. And they that's the reason. So the difference is when they're able to be in a creative mindset, they're also able to tap into a state of joy a lot faster. Because let me tell you, no matter how good you are, how strong your faith could be, you're a human, and there's psychology and there's effects. Why do you think God created the world in color and not black and white, for example?
Mhm.
Why is there mountains and there's ocean? Variety. There is
Yes.
different colors. And why you don't know tomorrow for sure? Can you tell me 100%, 100% tomorrow you're going to work 100%? No.
No.
Because
No.
what if your car didn't start in the morning, God forbid, or something, right? We
Right.
cannot
Right.
guarantee anything.
Yeah.
So a creative mind is also curious. We are made to be curious, but in a good way. There is not healthy curiosity and there's healthy curiosity. But what's
Mhm.
happening is that people are not practicing curiosity anymore, intellectual curiosity. So, which means when I have a situation that is challenging, or it's not of my liking, or another person or country or background or religion or culture If I become intellectually curious, I direct my thoughts immediately to a better emotion. And the emotion is of discovering, exploring, and I want to learn. So during the process of writing my last chapter, the Creative Circle of Creative Masters, I did a lot of research for myself because I wanted to set
Hmm.
it up right because it has a certification program. So I had to study about everything that does with what could influence creativity to its optimal potential level. And what type of people do I need to have in this circle that could help that result, achieve that result? So without having the culturalism and diversity, it's not going to work for its best potential.
Right.
So I was like, you have the interaction of different faiths. It's very, very important because there's so much growth that comes with that. And also, if you want to really study the mindset and psychology, and you take that as a study for you, everything becomes more fun. Think about it. Now the person that could have aggravated you the most because already a person was judging to them, if they take them as something that they want to learn and study their brain, their mindset, their behaviors, it becomes a lot more interesting to deal with that person than dealing with all the judgment that you had prior to even discovering what they think and what could help you or help them, and maybe you can grow together from that point.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about, I think, equals and opposites, because there's an opposite to everything, and how it's a matter of perspective.
Yes.
How are you looking at it? And when we open up our mind to maybe say, maybe this could make some sense because we're looking for something good in it rather than something bad in it, all of a sudden it comes with a new meaning.
That's very true. Very true.
Yes. So we've got just a couple minutes here left. I'd love for you to just share some final thoughts with the viewers. Of course, we appreciate everybody. You are watching the town hall get to know, and we are getting to know Dr. Sophie Nubani. She does have a new book coming out. I'm going to let her tell you how you can get a hold of that book when it's supposed to be out soon. Let's pray for her that everything goes smoothly with that. And yes, let's make this happen. And so it's smooth. I know
Amen.
you. I know you've been working super hard on it. I know that you
You
have.
know,
And
there's always a story about the story, right?
that's another book, right?
I'm not kidding you. I could write a little booklet, maybe about 50 pages about the story of the book.
Right, exactly. So I'm just going to shout out a couple of our viewers, because our viewers are important to us. We appreciate you, and by the way, we get to learn and grow from you too as well. And it's so
Amen.
dynamic, and it's such a great group of people, and we appreciate you coming back. Now, I did want to say a couple things, then I'm going to turn it back over. I'm going to have Dr. Sophie close, but we are going to be on come a Monday, and we're going to be on real live TV. It's going to be really awesome. And I want to have you back, Dr. Sophie. After you've got that book out, we want you to come back. We're going to be on Roku TV, by the way, and we're going to be on Fire TV as well. We're going to be streaming to our website. There's going to be a library there so you can go and watch it at your convenience. If you have a smart TV, you can download the E360 app. It's E360 TV application on your smart TV if you have Fire or Roku, and you can watch them. They've got other great shows up there as well. So I'm joining a bunch of people that it's a very dynamic platform. We want you to join us up there. And if you don't have that smart TV, that's where the website comes in. We'll also be broadcasting to Facebook still as well. So Richard Fay, we appreciate you. And Lorna Espinoza, thank you very much. We have a Facebook user, I'm not sure who that is, says hello. They do say hello to you as well. Shirley Connolly joined us from up north in Canada. Um, Dynamic person, she'll be coming on the Get to Know as well.
Nice.
So Emmanuel Laverty, I know that he was here somewhere. We appreciate everybody. And why don't you just go ahead and close us out here?
Yes, yes. So, you asked me what is a message that I would leave our audience with,
Yes,
and
yes,
I would
doctor.
just say is truly, in the end, everything is going to be okay. And tap into that energy and just let your mind at ease, because we sometimes start thinking too much, and that thought, it really, really, really distracts our direction of what we're meant to do and be. So try to connect with something that really inspires and uplifts you, a habit or a new thing that maybe, yeah, you can start doing. For example, if you haven't been walking, maybe start walking. If you have been eating really bad, try to focus on better quality food. Try to be more conscious of what you are surrounding yourself, especially now, because you want your immune system to stay good. And that is what you eat and what you think equally. So try to be very mindful of that and step into your own magnificent power. Know that you have all the resources within you, they're already there. And if you need help, reach out for people. Many people, many people are willing to help and wanting to help more than even ever before. So don't be alone and don't feel alone in this journey. Allow yourself just to ask and you shall receive, and also connect with your community. So be more involved and engaged. It's going to take the burden off of your soul. You're going to feel lighter. Even if you're facing the challenge, when you face it with everyone together, it feels a lot lighter than if you had to face it by yourself. So don't ever forget to reach out when you need to. And we are all here for you in prayers and love and suggestions and whatever, so we can be. So reach out.
Thank you. Now, how can they reach out to you and get a hold of you there, Dr. Sophie? What's the best way to, if they've got questions or they might be considering getting coaching from you, because obviously you can help us grow tremendously. And so, how
Sure.
could they reach you?
Yeah, they could reach me on Sophie Nubani, just like how my name is on the platform right now, .com. And it has all my information, including my phone contact, my email address, website, everything that could be helpful. And I'm on social media. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. And if there is anything, you can always direct message me on Messenger. If there is anything I could be of help or connect you with people or be of service to you, we're here to make it all work out for all of us. So
That's excellent.
remember that.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. I'm putting your link in there right now for you. You That's the link. If you want to take a look at that and go to our website, do that. We appreciate everybody. Thank you so very much. We hope that you're
Thank
having a
you.
great weekend. You know, I got to say it for America. It is the 4th of July weekend. We are
Yes,
celebrating independence. Sorry about that, UK, but we are. It's happening. But we still love you guys as well, too. It's not like we don't.
yes.
Um, it's so great. So everybody have a great weekend. I'll be back with the Sunrise Daybreakers Tribe at about 6:10 a.m. on Monday morning. Hoping to bring some fireworks. There might be a few that are going off. Most of them are closed down. But in the meantime, everybody enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you all soon. This is
Blessing,
Stephen Smith. Take
blessing,
care.
blessing.
I'm signing off.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye.